Today we're joined by Fantasy Football Hub Daddy to build a Game Week 9 wildcard. Will, you're here and you've popped the wildcard. You're doing alright this season too, 676k.
I have, John. Yeah, it's going okay. Yeah, I think alright, probably the right term. It's it's been a steady start, but not spectacular. But I'm not in the millions, so not terrible either.
Well, we're still in like the top 10%. Do you know? Top million.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's funny how as the game grows, your 10k top 10k was always my target, and now that just almost seems unachievable unless you get like really lucky or go on a crazy run. Fortunate to have 7 top 10k finishes, but I'm generally not sure I'll get another one, to be honest. Like it's really tough now. So I think I'm aiming for top 50k. I'll be pretty happy if I can get that this season.
Top 50k would be insane. I came out with bold statements pre-season about wanting top 10k or top 25k or I'll pierce my nose and all this sort of stuff, but I'm starting to regret that now. I might just ghost and go off the face of the earth towards the end of the season. But we're on the My Team tool on Fantasy Football Hub, and we're going to build your wild card from the back out. Talk through obviously every option. Some will need more explanations than others. Do you want to start off with your backup goalkeeper?
Yeah, goalkeepers are... Well, I'm still, to be honest, this is like my latest draft, and I'm 70% sure I'm going to go with this team. But goalkeepers in particular is one of those positions where I'm still not 100% sure on. Even the backup goalkeeper. At the moment, I've gone for Iverson, just because he's the cheapest, 3.9. I think there's a small chance that Ward could get benched and Iverson comes in, but yeah, I've just gone for him because he's a bit cheaper and no other reason than that. My playing goalkeeper is Raya from Brentford. Again, I've been switching between, I looked at Pickford, I looked at Pope, I've looked at Guaita from Crystal Palace, I've looked at various different goalkeepers. To be honest, I don't really like any of them. I think Pope is probably slightly overpriced now at 5.2. Guaita's Crystal Palace got terrible defensive numbers. They've got good fixtures coming up, but Guaita doesn't do much in terms of save bonus. Reyes he just feels like hopefully a pretty steady Eddie sort of safe pair of hands. Brentford have got okay fixtures. He's okay on the bonus. I have actually been toying with going Ward and Iverson. I know that seems pretty insane, but if I do need like an extra 0.5, I might actually go there, which I know seems stupid, but Leicester have got great fixtures and surely they can't do any worse.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer Brendan Rodgers will last, but Godspeed with whatever you choose there. I'm happy to have Pope because I feel like I can trust him somewhat, but I hear what you're saying about the value. It is a little bit excessive maybe.
Yeah, I think if you got him at 5, then great. It's just, comparing to Reyes, like an extra 0.7. I don't looking at the upcoming fixtures for Newcastle, I don't actually see that many clean sheets. But then he does get the save bonuses and all the rest of it. So he's probably, he's a very good pick. But just for me at the moment, I think I'll probably go with Raya.
Obviously, longer term there'll be a bit of chopping and changing with the formation, but short term, what formation are we looking at here?
We've currently got a 4-4-2, sometimes a 3-4-3. Okay,
well let's start with your bench defender then. If we're likely to start 4, who's the bench fodder?
It's Gahey from Crystal Palace, 4.3. Got decent fixtures. Looks like he's pretty nailed on. Good fixture in Gameweek 12, which is the important one where you're going to be relying on your bench. So yeah, he's pretty much lock in for me. The other one I was looking at is James Justin. I've been switching around between 3 at the back and 4 at the back. So if I did go for 3 at the back, I'll probably go with James Justin alongside Gahey.
Cool. But who have you gone for then as your fourth or your fourth best defender?
Fourth best defender. I've gone for Trent actually.
Trent only 4th best?
Yeah. Well, sorry, my fourth. I should say my 4th most Trent's nailed on one.
Yeah.
My 4th most nailed on one. Cool. Trent he's obviously a fantasy football beast. Liverpool defensive numbers haven't been great, but every time I look at taking Trent out, it's just he's got everything that you want in a fantasy asset and more. And I still think that he can deliver. Do I think Liverpool are going to keep loads of clean sheets over the next few matches? Probably not. But he's just one of those players you can sort of set and forget, and you know that he's gonna churn out points. So currently he's in my wildcard team. I have to say he's not completely nailed on. There are, if I was going to go for sort of a 3-4-3 or go for a big back three instead of a big back four, then he'll be the one I'll look to drop.
And who's our next defender?
The next most nailed on is probably Trippier. Newcastle have some decent fixtures, and obviously, he's looking like great value, big attacking threat. Again, I'm not that convinced on Newcastle's clean sheet potential, but yeah, Trippier looks like a little bit of a no-brainer at that price with his attacking potential and part of a pretty solid Newcastle backline as well. Again, player that you can just sort of put in your side every single game week, and he's going to churn out fancy football points.
It has been said recently that he's a more complete game than Trent, so time will tell over the next couple of weeks. Let's see who scores more points, but you've got them both. I'm very scared. I don't have Trent at the minute. I had the Gameweek 8 wildcard and went elsewhere, but I want him back because you know what they say, form is temporary and class is permanent, and I think Liverpool are going to punish a few people, but I'll be one of those people that's punished. Who's your fourth defender?
Cancelo. So again, this he's pretty much a lock for me. Been a lock all season. I don't think we need to say too much about him. The other one is James from Chelsea, obviously, and he's again looks like he's going to be playing right wing back under Potter. Looks like he's going to be very, very attacking, and he's got the fixtures. Absolute class player, complete lock.
Unreal. So that's a very solid back line. Who's our first midfielder?
First midfielder. What order should I go in?
Surprise us. You decide.
Surprise us. Right. I'm going to start with the most locked on midfielder. I would say is probably Andreas. 4.5.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Seems. The only thing with him is like Willian coming in, taking away some of the set pieces and all the rest of it. But I still think at 4.5, he offers great value. He's pretty secure started. He's got a half decent fixture in game week 12 when there's the time that I really need to use him. So yeah, pretty set on keeping him. Next up is probably the most nailed on is Maddison. Actually, just looking at Leicester's fixtures, his form, he seems absolutely sort of talismanic in that side. He's been in all my wildcard drafts, and there's no way I'm going to be dropping him.
Yeah, Maddison's come into my team this week. I think he's come into a lot of teams, and it's mad in the face of such poor form from Leicester. We're turning our heads to an asset like Maddison with it's those fixtures, and even he has looked decent in a struggling side, and I think it's more the defensive woes. They still are getting a few goals, so I think a lot of people watching will have Maddison or will have brought him in this week. Who's next?
The next most nailed on is probably Zaha. He's been, again, someone in all my drafts. I think that Crystal Palace have got a fantastic run of fixtures. Bit of a tricky one this week against Chelsea, but after that, their fixture run is very, very favourable. And he's looked fantastic this season. Stats are very, very impressive. Looks full of confidence. Seems like, again, sort of that talismanic figure. A bit of a no-brainer pick for me as well.
Zaha, Maddison. I love them. Zaha's the one guy I wanted this week that couldn't quite afford. I've already took a -4, so I'm jealous that you've got him. Who is our next mid?
Next most nailed is probably Martinelli. I'm not 100% sure on him, but I just think that he's bossing the numbers. He seems to be positioned almost as far up as Jesus, and yes, Arsenal have a blank in game week 12 and not great fixtures before him, which did make me sort of consider, do I want to lose him? I do have value tied up. I think that that's not really the reason I'm keeping him. I just think that for playing in a side like Arsenal, playing that attacking, could even be on pens. He's probably undervalued by at least $1 million. I'm trying not to overthink things too much, and I think getting rid of Martinelli at this stage would probably be overthinking it. The one player that I have thought about going with instead of Martinelli is probably Sinistera from Leeds. But again, that feels like a little bit. It's more of a punt, isn't it? And I think that Martinelli's been great for me, so there's not a real clear reason to shift away from him. And there's not, apart from Sinistera, there's not that many other options in that price bracket that really excite me. So yeah, currently sticking with Martinelli.
Yeah, I think I look at him, and what I've said a few times this week is, Spurs, Liverpool, albeit at home. Leeds is a great fixture, but then we've got a blank. So in the next 4, it's Spurs, Liverpool, and a blank. And I kind of look at that, and I have him, and everyone has him. We've got so much money tied up on him. I think we're afraid to lose that value because of how good an option he could be later in the season. But I don't know. It could be a barren few weeks for him, but maybe longer term, it's worth holding him for the value.
It could be. I just think that, obviously North London derby, often high scoring. Liverpool, as we've touched on, their defence isn't great. You'd still expect Arsenal to score a couple there. And then following game week 12, they go on a really, really nice run of fixtures. And again, it's just I want 3 probably players from Man City and Arsenal combined. So I've got Cancelo, got Martinelli. You can probably guess the other one. And I'm happy to sort of bench those going into game week 12 and have those coming into my side from game week 13.
Go on, give us his name.
The big one, gone for Son Heung-min.
You went for Son?
Yeah.
Oh, baby, yeah. I like this. Go on.
Yeah. So I think you got Haaland. I'm just going to tell everyone that I've already got Haaland. He's like a complete lock, isn't he? And then I think you've got a choice between Salah, De Bruyne, and Kane. And for me, and Son, obviously. And then for me, there isn't really that much to choose between them. You look at Son, you look at De Bruyne, you look at Salah. Son and De Bruyne have been outscoring Salah in FPL points for quite some time now, actually. Like, if you look at the numbers, both of those have been outscoring Salah for sort of like the last 6 months plus. And they've both got huge potential in terms of their attacking output. Son's more of a goal threat. De Bruyne more of an assist threat. I really like De Bruyne. Gutted that I don't really find a way into my team. That the reason that I've gone for Son over Salah, De Bruyne, and Kane, again, there's not really much to choose between them. Is mainly for 2 reasons. One is the game week 11 captaincy option. So when Liverpool play Manchester City, I want a good captain for that week. And I think Spurs play Everton. Yeah. So I think Son will be a good captaincy option that week. And 2 is I probably will be switching back to Salah for game week 12, depending on his form, depending on Liverpool's form. There might be some other options at that point, but having an expensive mid enables me to switch to Salah for game week 12 if I would like to. So yeah, not completely locked into my side, but I'm feeling pretty confident and set on it. I would say with Salah, he's still very much my thoughts. He's playing wider. Like, if you look at all the heat maps and stuff, he's playing wider. He seems to be more creative this season. He's taking less shots. His expected goals have dropped, and Liverpool don't seem to be doing what they did in previous seasons. So yes, he's a beast, but just looking over the last 6 months, Son and De Bruyne have been better assets. The one thing which does, still make me consider Salah is this game against Brighton, because the new manager is just attack. I think he's super attacking, and he plays quite a different system to Potter, actually. And I just wonder whether going to Liverpool away, he could get a little bit of a shock if he tries to play his really attacking system, and especially with those players not knowing the system, and he goes to Liverpool and tries to play that way in his first match. Liverpool know how to deal with attacking teams. They're very, very good at pressing high. Potentially it could be a very, very high scoring match for Liverpool, and potentially you could even captain Salah. But as I said, I'm keener to have Son in game week 11 as captain. Probably wouldn't captain Salah this game week, even if I had him. So I'm not too worried about not having Salah this game week. So on balance, that's kind of why I've gone for Son. I really like De Bruyne, but just gone Son for that captaincy option, and yeah, obviously a Spurs fan, so that's
no bias here. I think Son, I suppose as a Spurs fan as well, you're assuming that his hat-trick off the bench has pretty much put to bed any risk of him being rotated.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there is a question mark there over will his minutes get managed more, because obviously Richarlison is likely to come off the bench and all the rest of it. And I do think that's probably the one sort of argument against him. I think he's 100% set to start, but
and Kulusevski
could he get
an injury at the minute too,
exactly,
so even short term, which is what you care about.
And Son is going to be short term, right? I'm probably going to switch back to Salah for game week 12.
I think that's an interesting pick. So that's probably the most interesting pick I've seen. There aren't many people going with Son. Haaland I'll put in, and to be honest, we probably don't need to spend too much time worrying about him, because everyone knows why you've picked Haaland, and everyone has Haaland, and Haaland's Haaland. If there's anything interesting you want to say on him, please do. Otherwise, let us know your next forward.
No, the only thing really is that it just because he's such good captaincy, that's kind of partly the reason that I don't think you need Salah. Salah's always just been such an auto captain for everyone for so long, but I think with Haaland you don't need Salah in some ways, so that's really the only thing to say. Otherwise, Mitrovic, he's been a lock in all of my wildcard drafts. Fulham got decent fixtures. He's again another talismanic figure on penalties, takes a ton of shots, and 7 million or 6.9 or whatever he is seems really good value. Solanke, he's found a way into my team. I was looking at it, I was thinking, why am I doing this? What's going on? But I think there is reason to the madness. Those fixtures, the value, the current setup that I have as well. I can bench him, but I can also play him, and he rotates quite well with the rest of my team. For example, Zaha, I'm going to bench Zaha this week because he played Chelsea. Solanke comes in. But the key thing that I'm wanting to do here is really to be able to move the premiums around and try and keep sort of a stable rest of my 11. And I think with a strong bench, which I have now, is obviously going to be important for game week 12. But yeah, hopefully if I, even if I get an injury, then it's not going to sort of derail too many of my other transfer plans and what I want to do with the team, because I've got that strong bench in place. So Solanke found a way in.
Solanke, I've been lambasting him all week. As a principal, I've said he's not coming into my team, and I've made my moves without him, but penalties, fixtures, I get it. I do get it. I don't know. It just feels wrong. But he's an enabler. That's what he is at the end of the day. It's not like people kind of put him in the same frame as the Tonys and the Mitrovics and whoever else, because it's generally a decision between him or them. But it's more about the price he is than necessarily him and the team he plays for.
Yeah, look, if he gets... I'm fully expecting him to not return. If he gets 2 points for the next 4 matches, I'll think, okay, it was worth a little bit of a punt. He's going to have played 3 of those 4 matches for me, most likely, maybe 2 of those 4 matches, depending on who I want to go for. I've not really lost anything, and I'll probably transfer him out. So.
A big deal's been made of it because it sounds crazy, but ultimately it's not going to make or break anyone's season. This team is just minus 1.5, so it's 101.5 million, but bear in mind, people, that a lot of people have value built up, particularly in the likes of the Martinellis and the Haalands here, so you should be able to afford this if you're on a wild card. So let's see, you would be starting Haaland, you said you'd be benching Zaha, you'd be starting Son, I imagine you'd be benching Andreas. So your starting 11 would probably look like Raya, Trent, Trippier, Cancelo, James, Son, Martinelli, Maddison, Haaland, Mitrovic and Solanke.
Yeah, I think so. I suppose the only slight question is whether you start Iverson over Raya, and hope he plays. But
Raya
yeah,
has Bournemouth, doesn't he? I mean,
Yeah.
It's not a bad
no, it's a
fixture.
good fixture for Ray as well, for sure. Yeah.
Who would the captaincy be on?
It's got to be Haaland.
Haaland.
I don't think it's worth thinking
Punt.
outside of that, to be perfectly honest. Man United at home, if City can get an early goal, then it could turn into a bloodbath. Equally, if they don't manage to get an early goal and Manchester United play on the counter, then it could be a bit of a tight one. But yeah, for me, I don't think it's worth overthinking it.
You have 61.3 predicted points, a team rating of 95%, that's looking ahead up to 5 game weeks, and the game week rating of 90% just for this upcoming game week alone. Would you take 61 points right now?
Do you know what? I'll probably roll the dice. If you're going for a wild card, you want to get off to a good start, don't you? So I'd like to go for over 60 points, to be honest.
61 plus is what we're going for this week. So, well, look, it's been a pleasure having you build your wildcard. Thanks for coming on to do it. If everyone, why should people subscribe to Fantasy Football Hub or go and check out the site?
This, ladies and gentlemen, is the last week you can take advantage of our win your FPL mini league or your money back offer. So if you subscribe as a paying Fantasy Football Hub member and you do not win your FPL mini league, then we will give you your money back. It's as simple as that. You have to do a couple of things. One, you have to tell us what league you're joining and the mini league code. And 2, you have to actually use the platform. There might be some other terms and conditions, so make sure you check those out. But basically, if you do those 2 things, then and you don't win your mini league, you'll get a full refund on your Fantasy Football Hub membership. So we're pretty confident in the product. You can use tools like our My Team tool and various other ones, all designed to help you win your mini leagues. And yeah, if you don't, it's you get your money back. So pretty much a no-brainer. Go and do it now.
There we go. 30% off for the link in the description. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel and we'll see you again soon. Best of luck in Game Week 9. Bye-bye.